like the part. He'd also do this. Hey! MarkyJoe1990's here! Just,
my ears.
yes, with complete distorted mic. I try to avoid making fun of MarkyJoe1990's because he got really pissed off at me once for basically saying I think his Let's Plays aren't very good on a forum. But, like, he says he has a better sense of humor now, but, like, I don't want to...
Stop.
Like, I don't want to step on him too much, you know? Yeah, I'm not gonna do this. Lost Levels is a piece of crap. Okay.
And who is Mage Knight?
MarkyJoe1990's, he's a Let's Player on YouTube who does mostly Fire Emblem related stuff.
Well, I can get that much, but...
I watch his videos mainly because I find him, like, when he talks about his opinions, he's very opinionated. I like it when he's very opinionated. I just don't find him entertaining, though. Like, he's not very funny, I guess. And his mic quality is not very good, and a lot of times he, like, I guess he assigns jokes to specific characters, like with in his Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn playthrough, he took Nolan and called him Chuck Nolan, and pretty much said that the entire playthrough whenever Nolan said anything like that.
You know, you're starting to do it.
Because it's very catchy. And he also does a cut you thing. He does a lot of onomatopoeias, and he like
What?
he voice acts. I mean, I'm sure he has his audience, but he's just not for me. And Trent, Seth1212, I've never really felt he was particularly good either. I kind of felt that people watched his videos more for his personality, and even then, his personality, I kind of feel that he's kind of in the same boat as MarkyJoe1990's, where it's like, he has a very designated personality complete with catchphrases and stuff, and it's like, you know, I just feel that the game should be equal parts, the playthrough should be equal parts about the commentator, well, actually more about the game than it is about the commentator. Lately, I've been sort of putting myself in that direction, actually. I'm sure you guys have noticed. I'm making the videos less about me making funny remarks and shit, and more about me actually discussing my opinions on level design and stuff, because I feel that's a lot. I feel that provokes healthier discussion in my videos, and I feel that people will be more interested in that than, you know, me. What?
Then you're just cracking jokes at every turn.
Every now and then I make a joke. I usually make jokes at my own expense, though, because I kind of like making fun of myself.
You seem to have a thing for self-depreciative humor.
Oh, it's because I'm a very self-conscious person with very low self-esteem, so,
Well, that makes two of us.
I guess making fun of myself kind of makes me feel better about myself somehow, even though I'm...
What?
I don't know, I just... It's also because, like, a lot of people will leave comments like, why didn't you do this? So I decided to start doing that myself so that people would at least know that I acknowledge my own mistakes, so that they don't fucking post it in the comments. I've been getting that a lot in the Rage Fest videos. Like, every now and then I get a comment where somebody's like, you could have saved yourself 5 hours of footage if you just used the ocean seal. And I'm like...
Ocean seal? Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like a seal, you know, bark seal.
I don't know. But, like, there was this guy who showed up on one of my Clockinator Rage Fest 3 submission videos, and he was like, you could have cut this entire part out if you just used that ocean seal. And since I can't see the video, I can't really defend myself for anything, so I just told him, dude, I can't fucking defend myself because I can't see the video. But lately I've been just trying to make it so that
with your post commentaries and all.
Yeah. Self-deprecative post commentary, and I try to cut out all the parts where I act like a stupid dipshit. Or if I do, I'll like show that I acknowledge it with post commentary. Like I'll say, "Why did you do this, you stupid dipshit?" So that people can laugh at me. Cause if you're gonna fuck up, at least make it funny for everybody else, and make it so that they don't yell at their computer screen. But yeah, so what is this stuff? Lol Yoshi says, Marky, can you explain Rage Fest to me again? I still don't understand since I don't... Okay, so Rage Fest is a contest where people make chapters in Fire Emblem 7 or the other
Or
Fire
whatever.
Emblems. And
It's just a Fire Emblem game.
basically they design the chapter to be... to troll me, basically. So usually they have stuff like Raisin is in trouble and I have to save her. Just
Even
to,
those shoes.
and they'll make fun of me, which I don't mind because I love it when people do impressions of me because I can totally tell. Like, it's usually very spot on. Like I can totally tell I'm a really big complainy pants, I guess.
I think you've had a few times where you've said stuff like, "Oh, I'm not that mean."
Yeah, I especially in FE Lover 3 submission where it's like, oh, I'm not that mean. Come on, give me some credit.
Yeah, it was like another submission from FE Level 3. I should just disqualify him. I think that's what it said.
I would not do that, but I'm totally on board with him saying I'd do that. Because I just like how his submission depicts me as just this whiny douche. it just works. That's all I can say. I really like that submission in terms of comedy, not so much in terms of playing it. It was probably one of the worst things I ever played. Oh shit. Okay, so the Great Graham Cracker says, I always get nervous about uploading videos because I know that my family and friends watch them as well as people I talk to on a day-to-day basis, and I like to keep the impression as a kind of normal kid. I don't want to be a fucking normal kid. Normalcy is conformist. I want to be my own person. Fuck society and its status quo. I don't fucking like punk music though. Fuck punk music. That's just music that's like minimum effort. I am not a hipster. I am not a hipster because I don't hate stuff just because it's popular. I have my own distinct stuff I like.
And then if you do hate something that's popular, it's usually because it's not very good.
Yeah. I hate stuff because it's shit, not because it's popular. And I kind of feel that hipsters are just fucking... they're conformist in their own way. Because they're like...
Like in the reverse sense?
I don't know. People just like to fit into shit rather than being their own person. And I kind of find it's pathetic. I said I don't like pop music, but honestly, that's not true. Like, I claim I do, but honestly, I listen to Prince, who makes a lot of pop music. I also listen to some of the later era Genesis. But the thing is that I actually like that pop music because I feel it's good.
I have no idea who these people are.
Well, Genesis, in their earlier days, they made like really long... They were a progressive rock band, and probably the best one, in my opinion. And then in their later days, they were a highly successful pop band. Let's see. Game Slayer Knight says, be funny if someone made a Rage Fest 3 that was Persona themed, where you fought a shadow version of yourself as a boss. I think it would be absolutely hilarious if somebody actually did do that, and like both me and the shadow version of myself were whiny. Like both of us like hate, like both, like maybe the map is really shitty, and then like there's like a dramatic thing where it's like, now you must face your dark side, Mark. And then we both like start ragging on how shitty the map looks, and then we both just decide, you know what? I kind of like you. Let's work together. I think that would be awesome. Oh, this is the wrong way. See, I have a lot of ideas for comedy, I think. An opposite version of myself. Oh god. So, I guess the idea behind that would be like I'd complain about the map design and he'd be like, "Oh, come on, give the guy the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure he's a noob or something. Don't be so rough on him. I think for what he's going for, it works." And oh, that would be frustrating for me because I'd be like, "How can you possibly be okay with this?" Because I'm just completely I'm fucking elitist as shit. I mean, I'm aware of it though. I don't want to. I'm trying to put a leash on myself a bit, but I just can't help it sometimes. Like, I tried to put a leash on myself for that one Ragefest Gaiden thing.
A leash, you say?
It was the tower defense thing. And, I tried to be nice, but at the end of the video, I was just like, dude, I'm sorry, but this is shit. Okay, I believe it's this one? No. Damn it. Second star to the right and straight on till morning. I believe one of these has a bob-omb. Okay. That one isn't it. Okay. So let's see. Opposite version of Mark would be a shadow, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Wow. Chat's actually getting kind of filled. I'm surprised. It must be the fact that I'm talking to an actual female for once. What the shit is this? Now we're talking about fetishes?
Oh dear.
Blade Hero says, if there's something I know about Mark, is that he riffs a lot of things and that he has an odd vor fetish. Okay, thank you.
Oh come on! You could have at least gone for the more normal one.
Wait. The more normal one? Like, wait, what are you referring to? Are you referring to my other kick? Or or are you just talking about just kinks in general?
Never mind.
Alright! So, Marky, what happened to the girl who bought you Taco Bell? She never fucking existed. Alright, we're not gonna talk about fetishes in the chat, guys. Why are you guys so fucking fascinated with shit that gets me off? Oh, God. Okay, okay. Okay, Game Slayer Knight, if you want to know what vor is, type in soft vor on urbandictionary.com. That should be the best answer you could possibly get.
Oh, dear.
I don't want you fucking pestering me about it further than that. So, there you go.
You're getting hard to buy those Shy Guys.
Yeah. That's what always pissed me off about this shit. Well, we're the same people who try to figure out what gets Raocow off.
What?
You guys are fucking creepers! I don't ask people what turns them on. I think, you know what? I think it's partly my fault that they're like this, because I talk about the shit so openly that they're like, oh, you know, he's alright with it. It's not a big deal. So they get this idea that they should, do this with everybody or some shit. No, we don't need a mod here, Ephraim. This is quality discussion right here.
I love how you, like, when you were talking about that, you were just basically directing it to me.
Wait, what was I directing to you?
That bit about, I think it's... You said, I think it's because I talked to him openly about it, and I'm just like... So, like, you're not even acknowledging the...
Acknowledging the what?
Never mind.
Sorry, I should have paid attention better. As far as I know from Raukow's Steam account picture, he likes girls whose heads are cut off. Probably not true, lol, Yoshi.
Well,
I'm not even looking at the slot machine, by the way. I actually know how to do this, or at least I used to.
well, you just got it.
Yeah. I used to know how to do this, but, I'm sure if I, like, experimented enough, I could figure it out again, but whatevs. I'm pretty sure this stream's gonna get cut into multiple parts, but you know what? That's fine by me. A double tag team ultra for Marky Joe and the dual Terras. Have you spoken to a terraformer?
Slightly?
Oh. Okay, let's see. If I really wanted to get someone pissed off, I will be suggesting games that sucked, says Marks. I don't know if I'd get mad at that. Maybe.
A terraformer says, "Can you not post my section, please?"
Can you not post my section? I don't know what you're talking about, a terraformer. God, pay attention, Mark. Oh, jeez. Okay, Terra. So I guess you're like the female liquid, and a terraformer is like solid snake. Oh God, that has a lot of unfortunate implications.
Oh dear.
They don't call him Solid Snake for nothing. Okay. I'm thinking about the girl I used to do this stuff with, one RP girl. We don't talk anymore, and I kind of feel bad about it.
Oh, Mark's lonely.
Well, I feel bad about it because, well, on one hand, we didn't really talk all that much, so, you know, who were we trying to fool? We didn't really seem interested in talking to each other and stuff, and so I was just honest with her. I told her, listen, I think we really don't seem to mesh well together, so.
We just kind of don't click.
But I was a lot worse at breaking it to her than I should have been, and I feel like shit about it, but oh well. Anyway, let's not dwell on depressing stuff.
Super Mario World 2. Super Mario World 2. The place where you can pick up flamingos over your head.
Yeah. That's this game.
This game is so weird.
I think that's actually a good thing, though. I would rather play a weird game than one that takes itself too seriously.
You know, you say that a lot, but what do you mean by... But I've never really gotten a specific example of what you mean by a game taking itself too seriously.
Well, okay. I don't know how to describe it. Okay, so there's games where you can tell that it's not trying to be realistic. I can't think of any. I guess the Disgaea series is a good example.
Never played one.
Like, those games don't take themselves too seriously. But then you got games like Call of Duty, where it tries to be realistic and shit, but really it's just a bunch of testosterone-fueled stereotypes meshed together for maximum consumer consumption. So it comes off as a very pretentious game in terms of writing. So that would be an example of a game that takes itself too seriously.
I'm not sure I follow.
Plus the Halo series, with its numerous guys who fly away on a helicopter while standing on the platform, not bothering to get into the plane, even though they should, or else they're gonna fucking fall off, but they just happen to not because they probably have their feet nailed to the fucking platform.
But that's actually explained because the suit has magnetic properties, if memory serves.
Oh. So that they can dramatically fly away. Okay. I've never played Halo, I'm just going off of what other people said, so just fucking pay no mind to what I just said. God, I'm finding out that I'm not very good at... I gotta stop being so presumptuous. I don't know. I actually find that I'm a very two-sided person, like two-faced.
That's the thing.
Well, like if there's a conflict between two people, and I don't want, like I never take a side, even if I agree with one side over the other. I like if the other one's like, oh they suck, I'll be like, yeah they do, and I just take both sides, and it's kind of I'm very two-faced. I guess it's because I'm just afraid to make enemies out of people, but you can't be friends with everybody. You gotta stand up for what you believe in.
You can't be friends with everybody, but that doesn't mean you have to be enemies with anyone.
Sometimes it does. Unfortunately. Like, I don't want to get too into it, because this actually has something to do with my personal life. But yeah, there's somebody I know who
There are some people. There are some people who will take it very personal if you don't take their side.
yeah.
I've got a couple friends like that.
I mean,
So I know what you're getting at.
it just goes to show you, though. I guess what it really boils down to is that I'm a bit of a coward. I'm afraid to stand up to people.
Well, that makes two of us.
Well, you'll block people. You were telling me about some people who were pissing you off, and you blocked them after I said, "Dude, just fucking block them."
Well, that was only because you said to block them.
Oh, well, all right. Let's see if I can cheat this shit.
What are you trying to do?
You'll see. I don't want to spoil the surprise. Okay. If I do this just right, I can glitch this into the ladder. Okay, fuck it. Are you afraid to stand up to me, motherfucker? Says Yoshi.
Well, he's a Yoshi. All Mark has to do is drop you into a pit.
I don't fucking know. Sergeant Smiley's, like, if I said anything that sounded like I was trying to delegitimize you, I apologize. I didn't intend for that. I had just said that I tend to make presumptions, and I claim to know shit even if I don't really. So, oh, you were referring to Zeus. Okay. Okay. So let's see. No, I'm not afraid to stand up to you, lol Yoshi. I mean, I'd feel bad if I had to kick you out of the stream because you were being a dick. But, like, I'd still do it. I'd probably avoid you afterwards. So, actually, you know what? Yeah, I guess I am afraid to stand up to you then. Like, I'll do that, and then I'll be like, I don't want to deal with him.
Well, that's how I am.
I'm not a very responsible person, which is another reason why I don't actively seek a relationship with women, because I kind of feel that I'm not mature enough to have a relationship that's serious.
And that's the reason, and that's the exact same reason why I avoid a relationship with anyone.
I thought it was because you were misanthropic.
No, I'm not misanthropic.
Oh. Well, yeah. Aren't you, though? Because, like, you've said a few times some of your very jaded viewpoints. And it gave the impression that you were misanthropic.
Just because I'm jaded doesn't mean I'm misanthropic.
Well, there's also something else you said. I'm not sure if I want to bring it up, though, so I'm just gonna back off from there.
Bring it up in private, then.
Okay, so this guy's gonna... Yep, he's detonated. Okay, good. Okay, no bonuses. Whatever.
No bonus.
Okay. Up, Iceland. Or...
Oh, yay.
Or as I will call it, New Zealand. I don't know if New Zealand actually is icy, but I'm But it is blocky, according to Ben Yahtzee. Whee! Okay. Oh, by the way, speaking of not making sense.
What?
You know, they just casually grow rocket ships in the ground.
This game makes absolutely no sense. I think that, like, did the developers just make this while they were drunk or something?
Well, to be fair, the original Mario game has you going through pipes fighting flying turtles.
This is even worse than that, though.
Well, and plus we get eaten by a crow each stage. You alright?
I'm okay.
Okay, I think I got this part memorized. I think.
Jeez.
Lol. I would have preferred to use Mario for that because he has tighter control.
Well, hey, you did it.
Whee! Boop. The controls in the control in this game is really good. It's not slippery like Super Mario Brothers 3. Ow, my face. Up. Oh, here we go again.
Nonsensical rocket ship.
I almost died there. That would have been bad. Okay, so question for everyone in the chat: if you were an anime character, who would you be voiced by?
Myself.
I don't fucking know. So Mark says, from what a friend of mine said about the Mario creator, they probably smoked a ton of crack when they thought of this crap in the Mario games. Okay, I'm gonna make a controversial statement here, but
Oh boy.
I don't think when people come up with weird ideas, I don't normally assume that they made it while on something. I honestly think that they had like a specific goal in mind, and they needed to express it in a certain way. Especially in video games, especially, you're limited by the system.
Okay.
So you need to come up with different ways to express certain things.
You just barely survived that.
I don't I also think that a lot of people making games don't worry about making sense. At least back in the olden days of Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo, because it's like, oh, it's just a kid's toy, you know? They're not gonna give a shit. Let's just do it. Let's just do whatever the kid thinks is cool. So let's make rocket ships come out of the ground when you pull up leaves. That'll be cool. So in my mind, that's how I reason it out. I kind of feel that it's too easy to just say they made it on a bunch of crack, and I just skipped a lot of the level. And wow, arbitrary thing. Yeah, I don't think there's anything over there.
Yeah,
Not gonna take the chance. Oh, yep, skip the entire fucking level. This guy sees me as just a mere morsel. Holy shit. Okay.
Wait, why is there a fire boss in an ice level?
Listen, I just finished explaining. God damn it, Terra. Oh god. Okay, so those are like the blobs in Adventures of Link. Okay, this is gonna be a bit of a doozy, ain't it? Die! You have to. Oh, they're getting faster. That's not good. Ooh. I really wish I had Toad for this shit. Ooh, okay, perfect. Yes!
Yay!
And no stuff for me. Okay.
People over there, the people in the chat are talking about more about that anime voice subject. I still would rather voice myself.
Why would you want yourself voiced by anybody else? Are you trying? Do you want to be someone you're not? Do you want to seem cool? Do you want to fit in? Oh, that's a big one with a lot of people. They want to fucking fit in.
Well, don't be mean, Marky. Some people don't like their voices.
I think that people should be fine with their voices. Like, it's what gives them character. It's what makes them unique and distinct. The only reason why people are ashamed of their voices is because of a conformist status quo on what's normal. People make fun of them for their voices, and also because, you know, childhood, kids are dicks. They'll make fun of you for being different, so, you know.
One thing that I will constantly stand by is that nobody knows how to parent properly.
Well,
I will stand by that, and I will never change that view.
There's this guy named Frank Zappa. He's actually, I think he's the closest thing to an idol that I have, and he actually, he apparently raised his kids really well. Like, his son is very successful. He lives a very happy life. He gets laid a lot. And everybody thinks that Frank Zappa is an awesome father. And he actually explained how he has such, happy and successful children. And he said the key thing is that you gotta talk to your children like they're people, not property.
Mm-hmm. That's a really, really big thing that a lot of people miss. And it drives me crazy.
My parents were very authoritarian, and I think that and they also they were very presumptuous about society around them. So I think they somewhat contributed to my somewhat I don't know. Maybe it's just my fault that
It's not your fault.
What makes you so sure?
I guarantee you it's not your fault.
Oh. I think it's not right to put all the blame on others.
Not right to blame it all on yourself, though, either.
Well, I'm not
Look
blaming.
what happened to me.
God damn it! I wasn't paying attention.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. We're having a deep philosophical discussion. But, well, they raised me to not question them and. Wow. They raised me to not question things. I also, in hindsight, I kind of feel that they have a very narrow viewpoint of the world. At least my mom does, and she was the one that I had the most interaction with as a kid. And I think part of that also made me have a bit of a narrow view of the world, at least until I realized that a lot of things that I learned was wrong. And then I started to question things, question myself, and I think that has helped me a bit.
It's just that I don't think that people should have to go through that point in life. Like it shouldn't have to be that way. People should just do things right the first time.
Well, nobody's perfect.
It's not. You don't have to be perfect to know how to treat people like an equal.
Well, they're a kid. They I can see why people wouldn't make that assumption because it's a kid. He doesn't understand things the way an adult does. They don't.
But do you expect him to understand things if you don't treat him like one, or if you don't, well, obviously don't have the same expectations, but you don't treat him like a lesser being.
Well, here's a question then. How do you explain lust to a child?
It's a very difficult subject. But you have to sooner or later. Otherwise, they're gonna.
Well, obviously, you gotta tell them sooner or later. But you can't.
Of course, I'm obviously not.
But you're affirming my point, though.
No, Yoshi. Of course, I'm obviously not.
You're affirming my point, though. Like you're saying you gotta tell them eventually, but you can't tell them right away because they're not going to understand. They don't have.
More like there's no reason for them to know anyway.
Yeah, but if they. Yeah, that's true. But what my point is
why tell people things that they don't that they have no reason to know?
um. Well, I think you're attacking the straw man here.
The straw man?
Yeah, I was not making a statement about telling people things they don't know or don't need to know. I was talking about how a child just doesn't have the same level of comprehension as a full-grown adult. So I can understand why some people.
Yep.
I can understand why some people believe that their children shouldn't be treated like an equal because in terms of facts they really they don't have the same traits as an adult.
But they shouldn't be treated as a lesser being as a result of that.
Well, you shouldn't treat them like shit, obviously. But
what I mean is that, well, in addition to that fact, I mean, everyone I know has pretty lousy parents. But it's just,
well, I don't think my parents are entirely.
The standards of society today are only a result of the standards of society of the parents of yesterday.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Cause and effect.
Because eventually a kid is going to question their parents.
Of course.
That's what teenagehood is about.
I'm talking as in the way people are raised in the past generation determines, or at least generally determines, how things are going to happen in the next generation.
Okay, that is true. Unless the parent, obviously, there's going to be some variation on that because
there's going to be variation, but in general, that's how it goes. And if nobody knows how to do it right, then it's just going to be an endless vicious cycle.
Well, that's not necessarily true either. Because some kids eventually.
Well, yes, but
do grow up properly. They have friends that they can rely on.
But we gotta consider the big picture here. Not everyone's gonna have those things.
Well, no, but to assume that most people won't is also not a correct statement either. Like, there's a lot of factors that determine how a kid's going to grow up. It's not just their parents. It's also things like the friends they're with, the school they grow up in.
No, let's consider something else.
Well, what I'm saying is that those are other factors that can contribute to how a person will be. It also depends on how smart the kid is. Obviously, a smarter kid is going to question their parents more often. Like Frank Zappa, he turned out to be a really fucking amazing guy, but he didn't really have good parents as far as I'm concerned. He had, he was raised a Christian, and then later on he was like, what the fuck is this all about? Not saying that Christians are bad or anything, it's just that, he eventually grew to question the values of the previous generation.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That was a very deep philosophical discussion.
It is. I'm gonna feel a little bit awkward about having that uploaded to YouTube.
Don't worry about it. Don't be afraid of... Listen, Tara, don't be afraid of who you are. You are who you are, and if people don't approve, they can go fuck off.
Huh. But the thing is, I'm not trying to offend anyone.
Oh, God damn it.
Real nice.
You're just telling us how you feel. That there's nothing wrong with that. So, I don't see why you feel any sense of shame from it. It's fine, dude. Dudette. Sorry. An Eero.
What?
That's what Jarlsberg said. Suicide is not the answer, says Blade Hero. Well, I don't think suicide is the answer. I think it's a terrible thing that you could do to yourself. Meanwhile, rapidly crouching on a bird's head. Nice run around, Ponish Kirby, or whatever it is, roundabout.
Charlotte.
No, I was referring to like the terminology I was using. Everybody, tell Charlotte what you think of both of her submissions. Give her some feedback, so that she may learn.
She can probably make good use of feedback.
Yeah, Ponish Kirby seems to take feedback very seriously, actually.
She also takes it kind of pretty literally.
They were insert statement here. Suicide is only the answer when made as a sacrifice for another life. I don't think that's correct either, Zeos. Like, that's devaluing your own life from someone else's. You gotta like being a fucking martyr is pointless.
For one person, perhaps.
I don't want to fucking die for another person.
Of course, if you were like saving the world or something.
Well, if I was saving the world, that'd be nice, but I'm not gonna sacrifice myself unless it's like absolutely necessary, and that's never the case. Ponish Kirby, I'd rather you don't do that kind of shit in your submission, by the way, because that's a bit too heavy-handed. It would kind of ruin the mood of like the whole concept of Rage Fest to have the whole self-sacrifice thing.
Okay.
Plus, it'd be kind of depressing. Nobody wants to. Like, people don't go to my channel for depressedness. They want to fucking. They want to be entertained or at least learn something. You know what I'm saying? Rage Fest. I don't know if that's still a thing. I think I'm done with Rage Fest.
You should probably not say it's a thing, because then she will submit a terrifying submission for you.
Don't assume it's gonna be terrible. Ponish Kirby has standards, you know.
Say that to Mark's Quest.
Mark's Quest was, I feel, an experiment at her applying some of the things I said, maybe. I mean, she did. All right, I'll give it to her. She didn't execute it well at all. But like, I could tell she had a thought process with it.
She has a thought process with everything.
Lol Yoshi, you don't come to my channel to see depressing shit. Don't fucking lie. Who are you trying to fool here? Most of my stuff is not depressing. You liked my Jump stream because you hate Jump. And I did nothing but hate Jump in that stream. That's what I think, at least. I don't think it's your bullshit, like, oh, because it was depressing. Like, what do you do, Lol Yoshi? Do you slit, like, after my videos, do you, like, slit your wrists and say my life is a lie and I was created in a biogenetic lab? I don't think so.
What?
But then again, I'm putting words into your mouth, so I'll let you speak for yourself. By the way, as you, during your picking up frames of stuff, you're invincible, so I'm taking advantage of that. I've noticed that. Take things Mark likes and take them to their logical extreme and find the breakpoints. That was the purpose of Mark's Quest, says Ponish Kirby. Find the breakpoints? Oh, you mean like the line where it gets bad. Okay.
That fine line where just, this is good. This is absolutely horrible. I hate it with everything.
Like, I thought I already explained the breaking point of when the value of lives is overemphasized in my blog entry. So I don't see how you could have messed that up, Ponish Kirby. Unless I wasn't, like, specific, but I'm pretty sure I was. I reread it recently. Gotta love how that floating cherry can hold an entire block on top of it.
Makes more sense than the rest of the stuff in here.
I made the live system based on arcade games like Toho. Okay, so here's the problem with that philosophy, alright? The problem with that is that Toho is fast and the levels are very short and a lot of stuff happens in them. In yours, I could literally count on my fingers the different ideas you implemented in the first stage. You literally...
And how agonizingly long it took to get through them.
Yeah, and on top of that, it was also very it was just...
It was basically like turtling.
Well, no, I wouldn't say it was turtling, but... like, she only had 3 ideas for the first stage. She had the bandits, she had the horsemen, and then the bandits attacking from both sides. 3 ideas, plus the boss, but... alright, we'll count that as well, but...
The boss and his health bar that drops on your face.
Whereas in games like Toho and Castlevania, what they usually do is during the stage they'll like usually introduce you to a thing that's going to be used in a repeated amount of times during the stage, and then they show you different like they introduce you to various other things that are going to be used in the stage, and the rest of the stage is essentially a permutation of those ideas. Like it develops upon them and combines them. That's also what Castlevania does as well. It like Mega Man is also a good example. All right, so usually they'll put you in a very controlled environment so you can learn whatever gimmick they're showing you. Then they'll teach you a different gimmick, and then like later on in the stage they'll combine those 2 ideas and use them in different ways. So that's in my opinion level design 101, at least for platforming games and most other forms of games. Not necessarily for games like Fire Emblem though. Fire Emblem I kind of feel follows different... Well, actually, you know what? Fire Emblem doesn't follow different rules either. Fire Emblem Awakening also followed this concept. Like early in the game they introduced reinforcements.
And they also introduced stuff like archers and mages.
Yeah, and then later on in the game assumes that you understand these concepts, so they start to use them in more challenging situations. For example...
Okay,
yeah, I know, it's stupid.
How is the player supposed to anticipate that?
Well, it's not exactly very fast.
But it's just like, you would have...
Anyway, as I was saying... wait, where was I?
Fire archers and stuff.
Oh, okay. In Fire Emblem Awakening, they introduce, like, if you play on hard mode, they introduce the ambush spawns at Chapter 5 for the first time. And each subsequent chapter after, they always give you a warning. And then afterwards, the game assumes, alright, you see forts, you're going to assume that reinforcements are going to come out of it. So they remove the warning because they assume you already know what's coming, and that's a good example of developing an idea and increasing its difficulty and shit.
Pacing.
Yep, pacing. Okay, Chapter 16 is a shitty example, Ponage Kirby. Chapter 16 is like one of the worst. Is exactly what I hate to see in ambush spawning. Like, they say they're going to show up, they warn you, but they don't tell you where, and then they appear everywhere, and you have almost no way of expecting that. Like, usually they come from, like, the corner of the screen or from, like, forts. In that chapter, nope! Everywhere. Have no fucking defense against it. It's irritating as hell. Also, I used Toad and Peach only once.
And Mario got no...
This game only has 20 levels? I'm pretty sure. No, that can't be right. There's 3 levels each. 3 levels each world, so it has to be in... Yeah, it can't be. Okay, so there we go. Mario 2 is over.
And it was all a dream.
Year of Ouija. Well, to be fair, Luigi is the best character in this game. He has the most access to the secrets and stuff. There's really no point in using any other character unless you want to use Toad because you're having trouble with a part because you're having trouble lifting something. But even then, he's not very useful either because when you're lifting something, you have an invincibility grace period, and Toad lifts things faster, so that gives you less of an invincibility grace period while you're lifting things.
Peach is just called Princess.
Oh. That's fucking sexist. Don't even give her a name, just make her Princess. Bezo. Zobi. Porcupo, Tweeter, Bob-omb, one of the enemies that became a staple in the series. Hoopstar. Wonder how they came up with that one. Trouter actually makes some sense. Pidgeot too. And no, I don't play Monster Hunter Game Slayer Knight. Albatos. I feel like that's a pun or something.
It's a pun on the word on the albatross or something.
Maybe. Birdo. Ostro. I think those names actually got mixed up.
They did get mixed up.
Yeah, because later on, Ostro is Birdo. Cobrat.
Mouser.
Fry Guy. Clawglip. I think that's just the Japanese being idiots with their Clawglip. I think it's Clawgrip, if anything. That would make more sense. And Wart. The character you know nothing about until the very end, and is the main antagonist, somehow.
Who gets absolutely no reason for it even existing.
Well, okay, I think at the beginning of the game when they explain the story, like he's mentioned or something. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm done with the stream. You all have a good night.
Okay.